Hi, everybody. It's Program Ranger Shea with Capillary Council. I am here at beautiful Camp Tom Wooten in Bastrop, Texas, here at our amazing Fort Houston out at Camp Tom Wooten on our Cub Scout side. And today I am going to read a story to everybody about Sam Houston. That is who our fort is named after. He's a historic Texas citizen. So let's begin our story about Sam Houston. The people of Texas were fighting for their country's independence from Mexico. In March 1836, almost 200 Texas soldiers took a stand in an abandoned Spanish mission, the Alamo, in San Antonio. They were surrounded by 2,000 Mexican soldiers. "Fight to the very last," Texas Colonel William B. Travis told his men. They did. Every Texas soldier at the Alamo was killed. 189, including Travis, Davy Crockett, and Jim Bowie. Texans never forgot this battle. The commander-in-chief of the small Texas Army was a tall, powerful man named Sam Houston. Prospects were bleak. Then, on April 21st, 1836, he and his men were by the San Jacinto River, surrounded by Mexican soldiers. "We are Texans," Houston told his men. "If you wish to fight, here is your chance, and now is the time. Remember the Alamo." With that battle cry, Houston led his men into battle. Within just 18 minutes, the fight was over. Houston and his men had done what seemed impossible. They had defeated a huge force of well-armed soldiers. Texas was on its way to independence. Sam Houston was born March 2nd, 1793, in Rockbridge County, Virginia. He was the fifth of 9 children born to Samuel and Elizabeth Houston. His father was a farmer and a soldier in the Revolutionary War. His mother was the daughter of one of Rockbridge County's richest men. In early spring 1807, the Houston family moved west to a farm near Marysville, Tennessee. There they are, going in their covered wagon from Virginia to Tennessee. At only 16 years old, Sam left home and moved to an island in the middle of the Tennessee River. The island was occupied by Cherokee Indians. He lived there for 3 years and learned to speak, dress, and hunt like a Cherokee. He embraced American Indian legends. They called him Kolinha, the Raven. Houston later said his time there fitted me for my destiny. It was his molding period of time. Houston was confident in his abilities. In 1812, even though he had very little formal schooling himself, he opened his own school in Marysville. He made himself headmaster of that school and soon had a room full of tuition-paying students. So he lived with a Cherokee. He was a teacher. At the age of 20, he became a soldier. He joined the Tennessee Regulars to fight against the British in the War of 1812. He was a brave fighter. An arrow hit him in the leg, and he kept fighting. Another battle, 3 bullets hit him. Sadly, his war wounds never fully healed. Andrew Jackson, the general, greatly admired Houston's bravery. He helped him get a job in the U.S. War Department. So he lived with the Cherokee, he was a teacher, and a war hero. In 1818, Houston moved to Nashville in Tennessee. He studied law and set up a law office. He was soon appointed Attorney General of Nashville and given command of the U.S. militia. 4 years later, he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. In 1827, he was elected governor of Tennessee. So he lived with the Indians. He was a teacher, a soldier, a lawyer, and a representative in D.C. for Tennessee, and then the governor of Tennessee. In the early 1830s, Texas was ruled then by Mexico. Many of the Americans who lived there felt mistreated. They set out for independence. The Mexican leader, Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, was determined to crush this resistance. President Jackson sent Houston to Texas to convince the American Indians to fight alongside the Americans. The Convention of 1836 issued the Texas Declaration of Independence. Houston's signature is a big and bold one. The leaders of the new republic chose him to lead the army. He left the convention wearing a Cherokee coat, a buckskin vest, and a broad brim hat with a large feather in its band. He gathered men for his army. After the stunning victory in San Jacinto, he defeated Santa Anna, signing a treaty granting Texas independence. You see that fancy hat? Sam Houston was elected the first president of the Republic of Texas. So a president. He was president from 1836 to 1838, and again from 1841 to 1844. He kept peace with the American Indians and won recognition for his new republic from his friend President Andrew Jackson. He also saw the nation's capital move to the city founded in 1836 and named Houston in his honor. So at that time, they put the capital of Texas in Houston that they named after Mr. Sam Houston. Houston knew the young nation would have trouble defending itself against the Mexican threats and wanted Texas to be part of the United States. In 1845, Congress passed a resolution making Texas the 28th state. The next year, Sam Houston was elected to the United States Senate, so now he's a U.S. Senator, a position he held for 13 years. During Houston's years in the Senate, the issue of slavery divided the nation. Houston was against slavery. His position was not popular in Texas. There were compromises that temporarily resolved the slavery issue, but Houston didn't think that peace would last. A nation divided against itself cannot stand, he said in 1850 speech, quoting the Bible. 8 years later, President Abraham Lincoln quoted that same verse. In 1859, Houston left the Senate and was elected governor of Texas. So he was president and then a senator, and now he's the governor of Texas. In 1861, the Texas legislature voted to secede from the Union and become part of a new nation, the Confederate States of America. Let me tell you what is coming, Houston said. After the sacrifices of countless millions of treasure and hundreds of thousands of lives, the North will overwhelm the South. Houston was asked to take a loyalty oath to the Confederacy or the South. I love Texas too much to bring strife and bloodshed upon her, he wrote. I refuse to take this oath. And he was forced out of office. So they forced him to stop being governor because he did not believe in slavery. Houston retired. He and his wife Margaret moved to Huntsville, Texas. He was still a favorite of many Texas. He gave speeches, but said under no circumstances would he run again for office. Looks like maybe one of his hobbies was whittling things out of wood. Sam Houston had commanded an army. He'd been a governor, a senator, and the president of Texas. In July 26, 1863, Sam Houston died of pneumonia. In his last breath, he called out to his two great loves, Texas, Texas, Margaret, his wife. He had risen to the throne of power, a Houston newspaper wrote about his death. Let us shed tears in his memory, tears that are due to one who has filled so much of our affections. So that was our story about Sam Houston. Come out and visit us at Fort Houston at Camp Tom Wooten, Bastrop, Texas. When you have a free weekend with your pack and you guys make fun reservation out here or in summer during the summertime. I hope you all enjoy this book and learning about Sam Houston. Have a good one, y'all.